Hey crafters, it's Leo with Dreaming Tree, and today we're conjuring up a little Halloween magic with this playful monster bag. With his wild eyes and jagged teeth and just the right touch of spooky fun, it's perfect for delighting your little ghouls and goblins. So grab your cardstock, fire up your cutting machine, and let's bring this little monster to life. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. And we're gonna just, obviously we have some gold glitter black glitter elements. This is, one of these has a little L on it and is slightly smaller than the other. It's gonna be our liner. This is actually part of the main structure. And we have some white pearlescent as well as some black elements. And then we have this one here, which I believe is like a grapefruit pink. So with this, I do want to ink a little bit of this, and with this one you could go a couple ways. We can grab, this is a ladybug. I was actually thinking more along the lines of, well, you want something a little darker. Morocco, maybe a little too orange, or we can possibly go with a pink, although I think this ladybug will probably be the one we go with. I'll give it a shot and see. Worst case scenario, we go a little bit darker, and when you go darker, it for the most part hides the previous layer, and sometimes you end up with a little bit of a gradient, like multicolored inking situation, and this seems to be working nicely. So it is a Halloween project. This is one where I don't mind getting a little bit heavier with the ink. And one other thing that I may do is when the project's all said and done, I may take and actually hit our little monster with some black or deep purple ink as well. Okay, let's get the eyeballs as well, just to keep things nice and consistent. This ink pad definitely does not have a shortage of ink in it. So it's going pretty quickly here. And this is a great little last minute bag to make up for one of your kids, grandkids, niece or nephew, maybe even a coworker, a boss, whoever it may be. You know that you're the crafty one in the bunch, and you always need something new for that special someone that really appreciates the stuff that you make. And this will be a good reason to pop into the craft room and make something cute for Halloween. Halloween's, was it next weekend already? Holy moly. All right. I'm not sure I'm gonna ink anything else, so let's just put this off to the side for just a second. And let's take a look at our main structure here. And as you can see, I opted for the solid score lines, which are definitely visible. And I did this with my Juliet by Caesar. Let me grab my, you know what I noticed? I bought an actual bone folder, and it tends to leave like a shiny gloss on my paper. I'm not a big fan of it. So I'm going back to this silhouette scraper that they used to sell. Maybe they still sell it, and it's used for applying vinyl. I find that it doesn't, they both work great, but this one doesn't leave little marks or little, like almost like a waxy sheen. And maybe what it's doing is it's actually pulling it off of the paper. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's also a little vertical score here. You can ignore that. It's if you bring the handles together, that will sort of give on its own and just kind of relieve the tension that's created by that side. Otherwise, you can just leave it alone and the bag can just be nice and square. Okay, just go ahead and fold everything. I typically don't do this. Since the video is going to be rather short, I figured I would just show you my process when it comes to this sort of stuff. Okay, so that's that. And like I said, this assembly should go pretty quick. Okay, so first thing we're going to do while this thing is still open, we're going to take this piece here And this is going to get glued inside to create the little dots and such. We need to put that in before we close this up, because this other tab is actually going to get glued in here, and we don't want to see, actually, you know what? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to construct just the main structure here, minus the bottom probably. Grab this funky tab here that has little holes cut into it, and let's begin applying glue to this. Make sure you get some glue out to the edge. Okay, I'm going to spread that glue nice and easy right out to the very, very, very edge of the tab. Grab this other piece, and here you want to focus on the horizontal score lines at the bottom, and just make sure that those are nice and lined up. And then that tab that we just placed glue on has some funky little cutouts on it, and that's so that it does not obstruct this. Okay, and then let's take this, fold it over on itself. Let's check our alignment. It's pretty good. Press that down right at that seam. All right, let's open this up. And that looks pretty good. Right, at this point, we can take this piece, and this piece is going to get glued down like so. So let's do this while this is nice and open and flat for us. And one thing you'll notice here is, well, you want to be sort of careful with where you place the glue. I'm going to go ahead and work around these little cutouts. Stay pretty close to them. Okay. And then what you can also do is, and I'm doing textures, I'm putting the glue on the texture side because I want the texture side sticking out. You could go smooth to create some contrast if you'd like, and then just do your best to get that centered inside so it does not obstruct the folding. Let's take a look at the front. I did pretty good with the placement of the glue there. Okay, cool. And then what we can do, we can fold this down flat. Go ahead and apply some glue to this tab so we can begin closing up our little monster. I think I'm going to give this one to Peyton. Fill it with some Halloween goodies. He big fan of monsters at his age. All right, typically you can do that flat. I do believe that I was a tad bit off with my gluing. Maybe not. Should be able to do that flat, like I said. Okay, press that down. Then you can go ahead and open it up. And now we do have, that's our liner. Make sure you grab the one that does not have the little L on it. And I'm going to start with the front tab here. And I'm going to throw some glue on this tab. The handles are kind of preventing me from putting this down flat. And let's spread that glue out to the edge, just like we did on the sides there. Okay, and grab the bottom. And here's where you can put it down flat for a second. And line that up nicely. Get that centered. Butt it right up to the fold. There we go. You can put that down flat. Press down on the entire tab to get that to stick nicely for us. Okay, awesome. There we go. And now what we'll do is apply glue to the remaining 3 tabs, and we'll close it up. I do like to get that glue spread out all the way to the edge so we don't have any little gaps there. Looks nicer and should technically stay together better. Stay together better. Sounds like a candy bar or something. Okay, that's starting to dry out on me. Hopefully it's tacky enough to get the job done. And we'll go ahead and close this up. Hold it like this. Bring it down. Align it with this side as accurately as you can. Like so. And then press down the other sides if you need to nudge those in. Totally normal. Paper kind of breathes a little bit. And you can put that down on your surface. Push down on the rest of the tabs from the inside. Okay. Wonderful. And there we go. Now, this side did not cooperate with me. So I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper, throw a little bit of glue on there, and just tuck it in between those layers there, like so. And press that down, get that to hold nicely. And clean up those little seams. There we go. All right, let's take a look at the face of our little monster guy. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this piece here, and this is going to get glued flush to the bottom. Okay, this is black glitter. Obviously, it's pretty dark, so we don't really need to add any inking or anything, and plus it's already glitter, so it's already got a lot going on. Use your fingers to kind of feel the edges and the bottom, then press that down. There we go. Lovely. Just want to make sure that's flush with the bottom. Okay. And next we have, there's a black piece for the hair that's going to go on top of glitter. And for those of you who have crafted with me a ton, you know that it can be kind of a pain to get cardstock to hold on glitter, because even though it has a lot of little nooks and crannies, it just doesn't absorb the glue and bond to it as well. So you can go a little heavier with the glue when you're gluing cardstock to glitter. Get that lined up nicely. And let's press that down. I guess I could have inked that a little bit, but it's fine. And then once you have it in place, see, it's already kind of scooching around on me a little bit. That's the nature of paper on glitter. It happens. Just be patient. But once you know you have it, go ahead and tuck it under your mat and let your mat kind of do some work for you. So that's going to go on the front, but we do have a little handle that's going to go on the back just to kind of keep things consistent. So we can get that glued in place. So let's do that. Make sure you get some glue out to that little point there at the tip of the handle. And keep cruising here. Whoa, that was lucky. And just grab it, feel it, and you can see how the handle kind of curves along with the shape of the bag. Just do your best to get that lined up as accurately as you can. And that will also make our handle a little more sturdy, which is helpful. You can put that down on your surface and push down. Just make sure it's nice and lined up. There we go. It's different when you're gluing glitter to cardstock, because the back of the glitter is just kind of just a smooth surface. And it's not as difficult. Okay, so next we can take and glue his eyelashes on. You'll notice a little marker right here. It's like a V, and that's to help you with the alignment of his little eyebrows. Did I say eyelashes? I may have. Get your glue on there. Simple little bag. I wanted to do the purple people eater, but I was afraid of like trademarks. So kind of stayed away from that. And you'll notice that some of these little spots, you can match up the eyebrow, this section of the eyebrow and this section of the eyebrow at those little spots to just make sure that it's all symmetrical. Okay. Now let's grab this part of the eyeball, and then we'll grab the white part of the eyeball, and I'm going to have him cross-eyed. So you'll notice that there's a set of little markers on this cutout. I'm going to get those looking at each other in the middle, and they can be slightly off. It's not a big deal. The goofier the better, I think. Okay, press that down. Do the same thing with the other one. And this is like a white pearlescent, so it's got a little bit of bling to it. Not much though, very subtle. And do your best to get that centered as well. It's kind of amazing how the eye can just naturally center things like that. So we did not add markers to that. And then find the little black pieces for the eyeballs. And all we need to do there is just line them up with the little markers on the white piece. Those we did include. Just try to get those nice and centered so that the little markers essentially disappear. Okay, do the same thing with this one. Like that. Just a few little dots and pop them on there and take a look and see how it looks. Okay, come on now. Again, you want to make those little markers disappear. That looks fine. Okay, cool. So you can also see here there's kind of like an upside down V, and that is to help you with the positioning of the eye. And then also these little spots here have they're cut away so that you can see exactly where those eyes need to go and get those nice and straight on there. Okay, and one thing I've been noticing just over time is, occasionally when you're inking, it goes on kind of heavier and then it sort of lightens up. So maybe that's why sometimes I think I'm getting the look I want, and then when I go back to it or when the project's done, I notice that, well, it's a little weak. That's okay. All right, so let's get our glue on the eyeballs and use the little guides there as well as the cutouts on the side to ensure that we have it lined up properly. That looks good. We can put that down on our surface, push down from the inside. There we go. All right, now let's take a look at our mouth. So we're gonna put this white piece on top of this pink. There we go. We have one more piece here to make up the teeth, and it's going to work like that. So it's kind of like a reverse cut, but it gets you all the teeth with just one piece instead of having to piece all the little teeth individually, which is cool. Very well thought out. Okay, let's get that in there. And you can see a little round part. You obviously want to match that up with the round part just above the tongue. Everything else should be nice and flush around the perimeter of that white piece as well. Like so. There we go. Looking nice and scary. There we go. And just like before, we do have a series of little markers there, especially that one in the middle, to help you with the positioning of this. And there he is. That looks awesome. All right, let's get this glued down and finished up. We do have that little liner that's going to go inside. I'll show you how that works in a second. There we go, I think. Scoot that up a tiny bit. There we go. That looks good. Okay, drop that down, push down from the inside carefully. I have a little gap back here. I'm going to clean that up. Just because I'm OCD. And that's what I do. There he is, and then you can see here, this little slit, that little score mark will help you you can kind of just fold as you bring the handles together. Okay, now, oh, you know what? Forgot about this guy. That guy that was sitting there drying for us. Need to pop him into place to finish him off. So let's put glue on this whole thing. Okay. And just line that up nicely. Perfect. Cute. All right, press that down. All right, and then finally, this is our little liner piece. That's to hide the tabs at the bottom. Also just kind of strengthen things up a little bit. Throw a little bit of glue around the tabs on the inside as well as a little bit in the center. And just pop this in, texture side up. You could do it down as well. No one's really gonna be sticking their face in there looking at whether there's texture or not. Okay, there it is. So that's it. There's our little guy. So that's it. There's our cute little monster. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. That way you can also hit a little bell so you get notifications. Anytime we release a new project, you'll be one of the first to see it. Oh, and by the way, if you make this or anything from our, was it Spooky and Sweet SVG bundle that we just released, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. We're also on the clubhouses at Creative Fabrica. Speaking of which, thank you to all of you who have joined Creative Fabrica to follow us on our next adventure. If you haven't already, for $47 a year, you can get access to all of our content, past, present, and future. So anyway, happy Halloween, everyone. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.